Welcome back to my channel, and thank you for joining me again on this journey through history, culture, and numismatic significance. Today, we are diving deep into the rich story behind the 2022 P. Maya Angelou quarter. The very first coin released in the American Women Quarters program by the United States Mint, honoring the life, legacy, and cultural impact of the poet, author, performer, and civil rights activist Maya Angelou. This episode is not just about a coin. It is about a monumental shift in how our nation reflects its history through currency and pays tribute to those whose voices have shaped the soul of America. To understand the profound importance of the 2022 Maya Angelou quarter, we first need to explore who Maya Angelou was, what she stood for, and why her inclusion on a circulating coin represents more than just an artistic choice. Born Marguerite Annie Johnson, on April 4, 1928 in St. Louis, Missouri, Maya Angelou rose from a traumatic childhood marked by hardship, displacement, and silence, to become one of the most respected and influential voices in American literature and culture. Her autobiography, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, published in 1969, broke new ground in the literary world by depicting the Black female experience in a brutally honest and poetic voice. The book received international acclaim and is still widely read today as a seminal work of memoir and autobiography. Throughout her life, Maya Angelou was much more than an author. She was a poet, a dancer, a singer, an actress, a director, and most notably an activist working alongside figures like Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X in the struggle for civil rights. Her poems, including Still I Rise, Phenomenal Woman, and On the Pulse of Morning, the latter of which she recited at President Bill Clinton's 1993 inauguration, became emblems of strength, dignity, and the power of the human spirit. Her voice resonated across generations, echoing the dreams of freedom, justice, and unity in the face of oppression and inequality. Her cultural impact made Maya Angelou a national treasure, and in 2011 she was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor in the United States, by President Barack Obama. Recognizing her through coinage marks an evolution in the symbolic language of American currency, where for centuries only men, mostly presidents and founding fathers, have been featured. The American Women Quarters program, launched by the United States Mint in 2022, seeks to rectify that imbalance by honoring women from diverse backgrounds who have made significant contributions to American society, and Maya Angelou was chosen as the first in this historic series. The Maya Angelou quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, hence the P Mint mark, and was released into circulation in early 2022. The coin features a striking reverse design created by artist Emily Damstra and sculpted by Craig Campbell, which shows Maya Angelou with her arms uplifted in a pose evoking both freedom and lyrical expression. Behind her, a bird in flight and rays of the sun emerge, symbolizing her dynamic poetry and the hope she gave to millions. The image is inspired directly by the imagery in her autobiographical work and her poetic themes, especially the metaphor of the caged bird and the call for liberation and resilience in the face of adversity. Damstra and sculpted by Craig Campbell, which shows Maya Angelou with her arms uplifted in a pose evoking both freedom and lyrical expression. Behind her, a bird in flight and rays of the sun emerge, symbolizing her dynamic poetry and the hope she gave to millions. The image is inspired directly by the imagery in her autobiographical work and her poetic themes, especially the metaphor of the caged bird and the call for liberation and resilience in the face of adversity. The obverse of the coin features a new depiction of George Washington, based on the original 1932 Laura Gardin Fraser design that was initially recommended for the Washington quarter, but not used until now. This marks a significant moment in American numismatic history, as it not only honors Maya Angelou, but also resurrects and finally brings to the forefront the work of a talented female sculptor from the early 20th century whose vision was previously sidelined. The pairing of Fraser's Washington with Damstra's Angelo creates a powerful narrative about gender representation in American history and art. Delving into the production of the coin, the Philadelphia Mint utilized modern minting technology to ensure clarity and precision in each strike. The coins are composed of cupro nickel-clad copper and were issued for general circulation. Collector bags, rolls, and sets. The 2022 P. Maya Angelou quarters have already become a favorite among both casual collectors and seasoned numismatists due to their cultural significance, artistic beauty, and place in a groundbreaking series. Collectors have noted the importance of obtaining high-quality specimens, especially those graded by professional services like PCGS and NGC, where mint state or proof versions carry additional value in the market. Beyond the physical characteristics of the coin lies its educational and inspirational value. In classrooms across the country, educators use the coin as a teaching tool to introduce students to Maya Angelou's work and discuss broader topics like civil rights literature and the evolving role of women in American public life. The coin thus serves not only as a medium of exchange, but as a living artifact, a portable tribute to progress, and a daily reminder of the voices that continue to uplift and empower. The coin's release was celebrated in multiple states with local events public. Discussions and media coverage highlighting Maya Angelou's extraordinary life and the symbolism behind her depiction on the quarter, collectors began trading rolls of the coin on auction platforms and forums, while the U.S. Mint reported a surge in demand, reflecting the public's strong interest in coins that carry social and historical meaning. In the broader context, the American Women Quarters program includes other notable figures such as astronaut Sally Ride, Cherokee Nation leader Wilma Mankiller, suffragist Nina Otero Warren, and Chinese-American film star Anna May Wong, making Maya Angelou the trailblazer and standard-bearer for the entire series. Examining the coin's artistic composition, Emily Damstra deliberately chose iconography that reflects Maya Angelou's unique identity and universal appeal. The bird in flight represents the imagery of freedom that so often appeared in Angelou's writing. The rays of light symbolize spiritual awakening creativity and the dawn of a new cultural consciousness. The stylized pose of Angelou herself conveys openness, strength, and a connection to the divine and to the community, each element carefully thought through to resonate with both those familiar with her legacy and those discovering her for the first time. From a broader historical perspective, the Maya Angelou quarter marks an inflection point in the narrative of American coinage. It transitions the national minting tradition from a predominantly masculine and Eurocentric legacy toward one that is more inclusive, reflective, and representative of the true diversity of American achievement. For decades, numismatics has been seen as a technical and niche hobby, yet coins like this one bridge that world with mainstream cultural relevance, turning a pocket-sized object into a platform for storytelling, justice, and remembrance. Looking at its place in the collector's market, early responses suggest that the 2022 Maya Angelou quarter will remain an important item for years to come, not just for its mintage figures, but for its symbolism and cultural weight. As the first issue in a multi-year program, this coin sets the tone and builds a foundation for more inclusive commemorations in the years ahead, and as subsequent quarters are released, Maya Angelou's coin will continue to be viewed as the cornerstone of a new era in American numismatics. As we wrap up this extended dive into the story of the 2022 P. Maya Angelou quarter, it becomes clear that what we hold in our hand is not just metal or legal tender, but a celebration of poetry, perseverance, and progress. This coin immortalizes Maya Angelou's indomitable spirit and inspires us all to rise above limitations, speak our truths, and embrace the beauty of diversity in all its forms. Whether you are a coin collector, a history enthusiast, a student, literature, or someone simply curious about the changing face of American currency, this coin offers a profound and lasting message, and it is my hope that by learning its story, you are encouraged to look deeper into the people, places, and events that shape our world. Thank you for joining me again here on the channel, and if you found value in this exploration, please like, subscribe, and share this video so others can discover the legacy of Maya Angelou and the powerful significance behind the coin that bears her image. Until next time, keep collecting, keep learning, and keep honoring the stories that matter. This is not just a regular coin, it's a story stamped in metal, a piece of history that has passed through millions of hands and yet remains a mystery to many collectors and enthusiasts around the world. Today, I will take you on a journey through its design, its history, its minting, details its varieties, its errors, and its place in the world of coin collecting, as well as how its value has changed over time and what makes it special. Let's begin with the origins of the Washington quarter itself. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The first president of the United States, the coin replaced the standing Liberty quarter, which had been in circulation. Since 1916, the decision to honor Washington came during the Great Depression, a time when Americans were looking for symbols of strength, leadership, and national pride. Sculptor John Flanagan was chosen to design the coin, and his portrait of Washington was based on the bust created by French sculptor Jean-Antoine Houdon in 1785. The obverse side of the coin features a left-facing profile of George Washington, along with the word liberty and the phrase, "In God we trust," and the date of minting, which for our focus today is 1973. Now we come to the year 1973, a year that marked a time of transition in American history, both politically and economically. The United States was emerging from the turbulent 1960s and entering a new phase of change. The Vietnam War was still ongoing. Inflation was beginning to rise, and the Watergate scandal was unfolding against this backdrop. The U.S. Mint continued to produce the Washington quarter for general circulation, and that year the coins were struck at two main facilities, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. The Philadelphia quarters bear no mint mark, while the Denver quarters are marked with a small D to the right of Washington's ponytail. The Washington quarters minted in 1973 were composed of copper and nickel, as the last 90% silver quarters had been issued in 1964. The composition of the coin is known as clad, which means it has a core of pure copper and outer layers of a copper-nickel alloy. This change in composition was introduced in 1965 in response to the rising cost of silver and was part of the Coinage Act of 1965, which permanently ended the use of silver in most circulating coins, including the dime quarter and half dollar. The diameter of the 1973 Washington quarter is 24.3 millimeters, and its weight is 5.67 grams. Its reeded edge and standard thickness are consistent with the quarters we use today. And while millions of these coins were minted, not all of them are created equal, and that is where things start to get interesting for collectors and investors. In 1973, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 346 million quarters, while the Denver Mint struck over 232 million. And the San Francisco Mint also issued a special proof version of the coin, which was not intended for general circulation but rather for collectors. These proof coins were struck with a mirror-like finish and greater detail, and were sold in sealed sets by the U.S. Mint. The 1973's proof quarters are among the most visually stunning examples of the series and hold particular interest among numismatists. When we talk about value, we need to consider condition rarity and demand the average 1973 quarter in circulated condition is worth its face value of 25 cents. However, uncirculated and high-grade examples can fetch much more in the collector's market. Coins that are graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC can be worth several dollars to even over $100 depending on their luster strike, and eye appeal proof versions can also bring in premiums, especially if they have been preserved in pristine condition and carry a deep cameo designation indicating strong contrast between the mirrored fields and frosted devices. But what really adds excitement to the 1973 quarter are the known errors and varieties. Over the years, collectors have discovered several notable mistakes in the minting process. which can significantly increase a coin's value. These include double-die obverses, where the inscriptions or profile appear slightly doubled off center strikes, where the coin was not properly aligned in the press, and clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin is missing due to an error in the metal cutting process. There are also reports of quarters with missing clad layers which reveal the reddish copper core, and these types of errors can make a common coin extremely rare and valuable in the eyes of a collector. The story of the 1973 Washington quarter does not stop with minting and collecting. It also intersects with larger historical and cultural events. The design of the quarter featuring Washington has become so iconic that it remained unchanged for more than 65 years until the launch of the 50-state quarters program in 1999. This long-standing continuity is a testament to Flanagan's design and to the image of Washington as a unifying symbol in American history during the 1970s. As the country dealt with political scandal and economic challenges, the quarter continued to circulate as a reminder of the nation's founding ideals and leadership. Collectors today often seek to build complete sets of Washington quarters, which include one coin from every year and mint mark, and the 1973 issues are an essential part of that collection, although not considered rare in a general sense. High-grade and error examples of the 1973 quarter continue to attract strong interest and can be a rewarding find for anyone searching through pocket change or old coin rolls. There are even communities and online forums dedicated to identifying and discussing these coins and their unique characteristics, with members sharing their discoveries, tips, and auction results. The values of these coins are often driven by this collective interest and the thrill of finding something extraordinary in the ordinary. So what should you look for if you want to find a valuable 1973 quarter? First, examine the coin for any signs of errors such as doubling, missing layers, or misalignments. Next, check the condition. Sharp details and a lack of wear can suggest higher value. Finally, if you believe you have a potentially valuable specimen, consider submitting it to a professional grading service which can authenticate and grade the coin and give it a market value that buyers trust. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or a casual enthusiast, the 1973 Washington quarter offers a fascinating window into American history, minting technology, and the world of coin collecting. It's a coin that tells a story not only of the man whose image it bears, but of the people who used it, the hands it passed through, and the times in which it circulated. So the next time you come across a 1973 quarter, take a closer look, because that small piece of metal could be much more than spare change. It could be a piece of history waiting to be rediscovered. And that concludes our deep dive into the history and value of the 1973 Washington quarter. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more in-depth content on rare coins, valuable finds, and hidden treasures. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.